all praise to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, can you see my screen?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirate Ashtaprayasha Bhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhakti Naishtakim. So today Simeshwar Prabhu requested I do 12, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 12, and the 12th shloka, the 12th verse. So now I'll go to the Veda base, and I trust you all can see it properly. We'll chant the verse, and then later some Prabhu or Mataji would like to please chant. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa jnana dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagachanti ranantaram. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasa jnana dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagachanti ranantaram. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnana dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagachantir anantaram. Some Prabhu Mataji, please chant.
Hare Krishna. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagat shantiranantaram.
Very nice, Shweta Mataji. Somebody else, please.
Shreyo hi jnana abhyasat jnanat jnanam vishishyate jnanat karma phalas tyagas tyagas shanti anantaram.
Thank you, Satyabhama Mata. Anybody else, please?
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnana dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagach shantir anantaram.
Thank you, Savita. Can we get a Prabhu who's willing to chant? Don't feel shy. Don't worry about the pronunciation. Nanesh Prabhu, would you like to go? Okay. So we'll read the synonym.
I can try, Prabhuji.
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnana dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagas tyagat chandir anantaram.
Excellent. Thank you, Simeshwar Prabhu. So we'll read the synonyms, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shreya, better, he, certainly, jnanam, knowledge, abhyasat, than practice, jnanat, than knowledge, dhyanam, meditation, vishishyate, is considered better, dhyanat, than meditation, karma phala tyagaha, renunciation of the results of fruitive action, tyagat, by such renunciation, shanti, peace, anantaram, thereafter. Translation: if you cannot take to this practice, then engage yourself in the cultivation of knowledge. Better than knowledge, however, is meditation. And better than meditation is renunciation of the fruits of action. For by such renunciation, one can attain peace of mind. Purport. As mentioned in the previous verses, there are two kinds of devotional service: the way of regulative principles and the way of full attachment in love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who are actually not able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge, because by knowledge one can be able to understand his real position. Gradually, knowledge will develop to the point of meditation. By meditation, one can be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a gradual process. In the cultivation of knowledge, there are processes which make one understand that one himself is the Supreme, and that sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in the devotional service. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties as enjoined in the Vedic literature for the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, which we shall find in the last chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But in all cases, one should give up the results of fruits of labor. This means to employ the result of karma for some good cause. In summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal, there are two processes. One process is by gradual development, and the other process is direct. Devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the direct method, and the other method involves renouncing the fruits of one's activities. Then one can come to the stage of knowledge, then to the stage of meditation, then to the stage of understanding the super soul, and then to the stage of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One may take either the step-by-step process or the direct path. The direct process is not possible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is also good. It is, however, to be understood that the indirect process is not recommended for Arjun because he is already at the stage of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It is for others who are not at the stage. For them, the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, meditation, and realization of the Supersoul and Brahman should be followed. But as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, it is the direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take the direct method and surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna. Om Ajnantimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapatantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Gurunathanvatam Sachivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishnabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedant Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you again, Prabhu's Matajis. It's so nice to see everybody join the class and being regular. And I just had a thought earlier in the afternoon. I'll share it with you. You all just feel like family. In fact, I meet and interact with you both on a personal, physical level, as well as online, virtual, much more than my extended family. Of course, my immediate family, wife and children, we live together. But my mother, my siblings, cousins, and friends, and everyone. So it is really so nice, this forum. It brings us all together, one big extended family. And today, as Simeshwar Prabhu was mentioning, is the disappearance day of a great Acharya. He is our, Prabhupada is our grandfather. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj is our great grandfather. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji is our great grandfather. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj is our great grandfather. This is the lineage of the Gauda Vaishnava. Of course, it goes all the way further right up to Krishna. So we will speak a little bit on the disappearance of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Maharaj, and also Shri Gadadhar Pandit. He is one of the Panchatattva's, as you know. So I'll just read out a few lines from His Holiness Bhakti Rasamrit Swami Maharaj's WhatsApp media posting. Then we will get into the verse, today's verse, which talks about, the different stages of devotion. And then we'll also do something practical, which will be interactive session. What are the opportunities and challenges in practicing bhakti? All of us are practicing bhakti. We are all sadhakas. And we have some great experiences, and then, not so great experience also. We have these challenges, and then we have things which really make us enliven us, recharge us, empower us. So we will cover those, and, please participate. Finally, as ever, my humble obeisances to Gauranga Priya Prabhu, from whose notes, Bhagavad Gita notes, I have prepared for today's class. So to honor Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, can somebody please read? Anyone please volunteer to read?
Disappearance Day of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually established the modern day Krishna consciousness movement. He was an exceptionally bold, powerful, and scholarly preacher. He was the first Acharya in modern times to send books about the teachings of Lord Chaitanya outside India. We owe him a great deal, and on the day of his disappearance, we can offer our gratitude to him by remembering his lotus feet and begging for his mercy.
Thank you, Savita. Can somebody please read about Srila Gadadhar Pandit?
Hare Krishna.
Hare.
Disappearance Day of Srila Gadadhara Pandit. As Gadadhar Pandit is none other than Srimati Radharani, on this day of his disappearance, we can pray at his lotus feet that he may shower his mercy upon us, because without Srimati Radharani's mercy, we cannot do devotional service.
Without Srimati Radharani's mercy, we cannot do devotional service. Somebody please read where is Maharaj? Okay, I don't have that. So, keep this in mind about Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He's the one actually Thakur Maharaj is the one responsible for reviving Krishna consciousness. Over the period, it had kind of got lost, but he revived it. There were different philosophies, different khichadis, school of thought, but he came and just defeated all of that, fearless, completely fearless. And also these doing very innovative styles of preaching, sending books abroad. He also was a magistrate. He was a grasti, a householder with children. Most prominent of his children is, of course, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj. So, we owe all whatever it is to the Guru Parampara. And that's all the way, even Srimati Radharani's mercy. We'll also understand this concept of mercy a little bit, what it is vis-a-vis devotional service, bhakti. So let's get into progressive stages of devotion. Sometime back we covered it. The absolute truth, known as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has three aspects: Brahman, which is the all-encompassing aspect, the eternality aspect, the Sat aspect of the absolute truth of Godhead. The absolute truth of Godhead is Brahman. Then you have the Paramatma, the Chit aspect, the awareness, and then you have the Bhagavan, the person to whom all these attributes, the possessor of all these attributes. And we can realize there are different levels of realization. Starting from the bottommost is the Brahman. So as it was explained, you can look at something far off, it seems to be shapeless, formless, and you really can't engage with that, because engagement is always, a relationship is always two-way. It is give and take. So from Brahman is, something far off. There's no activity, there is no engagement. Then as you approach closer, you can see a form is detected. Look at it like a big mountain range. From far off, barely you can make out anything. Then as you come closer, you'll see the outline and you can have some interaction. You'll get an understanding of what the shape is. And then when you come closest, right up to the mountain side, you exactly know, the size. You'll be able to see the little pebbles, all the details over there, the trees, the bushes, the animals, waterfall, so many varieties are there on that mountain. So this is where the entire qualities are experienced in Bhagavan. And being a person, you can fully engage. He can accept whatever service is rendered, whatever activities we do for him. And similarly, he reciprocates in kind. So this is the stages of devotion. Keep this concept in mind. Now, how it has been explained is that there is the direct and the indirect stage. Now, in the direct stage, the highest is called the Raganuga Bhakti, which is spontaneous. And this is where the mind is totally fixed in Krishna. There's no other thought except Krishna. So the very advanced devotees, they reach the stage of Raganuga Bhakti. You will live in relationship with Krishna. Though the person may be on a material platform, in a material body, his consciousness is totally, his or her consciousness is totally absorbed with Krishna. Then after that, another direct method, which is recommended, since all of us do not have this spontaneity, is to follow the sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti has these regulative principles. When we talk about regulative, means regulate what? It's basically regulate this mind, basically regulate all that we have been accustomed to, all the nonsensical things that we've been accustomed to, which anyway takes us further away from Krishna. So if left as is, we'll just go further away from Krishna. We'll remain stuck in this samsara, the circle of birth, old age, disease, death. Maybe this lifetime we have human being. Based on a karma, we may become a Devi Devta, or we may become even a worm in the stool, as they explain it. there are 8.4 million species, as Govardhan Bhakta Prabhu was explaining in yesterday's class. Why 8.4 million? Because we jivas have this desire, the desire to enjoy independent from Krishna. So that is what is our desire. And all these desire, the sum total of all of that comes in 8.4 million. And then each form that we get, the species, 8.4 million species, has a prominent desire. And according to that, a suitable body is provided so that the jiva can experience whatever is that sense gratification to the fullest. But all these sense gratificatory, whatever things that the jiva engages in, only takes him further away from Krishna, and any act that he performs has a consequence that we call karma. So we do regulative principles wherein the actions we have to do anyway. However, you do it in such a manner which the Guru Parampara, Sadhu Shastras, they are the ones who set down these guidelines according to time, place, and circumstance. And they're the ones who say, okay, do this, don't do that. Do this, don't do that. In a sense, it may seem to be a little restrictive. It's not spontaneous. It may seem to be a little restrictive, but it is a discipline. We need to look at it as a discipline so that this mind of ours, which is so caught up in sense gratification, can slowly but surely go closer and closer to Krishna. So any thought, act, words, deeds that we're doing is the regulated. Everything is regulated. And what happens is that when you do this sadhana bhakti, finally a desire to attain Krishna. Earlier, what has happened is we don't want Krishna, and that's why we are here. So from this condition that we are in, the material condition where we don't care about Krishna, we don't have anything to do with Krishna, that desire develops. Actually, that is already there. It is just whatever is the anarthas covering, that is gradually removed through these practices. Then the indirect stage is work for Krishna. So the indirect stage is work, meditate, and knowledge. These three things, correct? And out of all, it is said work is the best. Why? Because that is something that all of us are accustomed to do. Whether, we are in the material condition also, all of us are working in some shape or form or the other. So it is better to work for it. And then whatever are the results of the labor that we have done, okay, you offer it. You offer it for a good cause. So your attachment to I, me, myself, mine, everything, me, gradually that moves away, right? And what happens is when we work for Krishna, that stage, we come to the stage of bhakti. Then we can start practicing sadhana, bhakti. And then lower than that, the indirect stage is what they say renunciation. You cultivate knowledge. Learn. Okay, fine. You cannot do this. Learn. Then knowledge. From knowledge, it will take you to the meditative state. In meditation, so that is jnana, that is dhyan. Dhyan is the meditation. And in the meditation stage, you can come to the stage of having the Paramatma realization. So out of these stages of bhakti, you see that there is the lowest stage, very difficult. Then there is the next stage, work for Krishna. That brings you to sadhana bhakti. And the intensity and the regularity, the sincerity with which we do our sadhana bhakti, that's how that spark which we already have in sadhana bhakti is fanning it, and it will go into a raging fire. So today we may find it a little difficult to do our japa. We may find 16 rounds to be, oh my God, 16 rounds. And there are do's and don'ts and all these things. But once you come to the Raganuga Bhakti, it's not even a consideration. That's the only thing that you would want to do. It's just Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Krishna and Krishnas, his devotees or whatever else is there. So these are the progressive stages of devotion. Now, if we look at the way is going back to Godhead, we have turned away from Krishna, and what we're trying to do is now we're trying to get back. We are always connected to Krishna. There's nothing that can be separate from Krishna. It's just a state of consciousness. As Dhanurdhar Maharaj has explained, that Krishna is everywhere. He's everywhere. He's within the space in the atom. He's literally everywhere. So how can you turn your back from somebody who's everywhere? You cannot. It's only in a dream or it's only in an illusion is what you think you have turned your back away from Krishna. But you can really never turn your back away from Krishna. Krishna is there. If I turn my back over here, I turn this side, Krishna is here. If I turn here, Krishna is here. There's no place in space where Krishna isn't there. He's everywhere. So going back to Godhead is basically reviving our original consciousness. So this is Krishna, and this term is very commonly used, back to Godhead. Correct? Back to Godhead. Now, the highest is when we reach that spontaneous stage of Raganuga Bhakti. We are fully into Krishna. Thought, word, deed, action, everything spontaneously. Not an effort. We make an effort to get up and chant. We make an effort to join Bhagavad Gita class. We make an effort to do this, make bhoga, to do the offering. We discipline ourselves. There it just happens. Just as effortlessly as we are breathing. We don't think about breathing, do we? Of course, unless we are drowned or something like that. So that is the spontaneity of Raganuga Bhakti. Then, the next one is the practice, sadhana bhakti. That is taking us to the Raganuga Bhakti stage. And the Varnashram and this meditation and knowledge. So knowledge, cultivating, Gyan is the lowest, indirect, but it's better. These are all transcendental, what you see above and over and above the material frame of living. So from Varnashram onwards to the right is all indirect method. And the other practice of sadhana bhakti and Raganuga is the direct method. So it's common sense. If you have to go up to the 42nd floor of a skyscraper, you could take the steps and climb. That is very strenuous. And why do it? We have this intelligence that is given us. We have this capacity, the intelligence. What will you do? Go into an elevator and directly press 42, it will take you there. Straight, it will take you up. So you could go to these stages of cultivating knowledge, then you go a few floors higher, you could get into dhyana. Then there's also this work, which is kind of in between. You have an escalator, which helps you bring to a certain stage. So all these things, just straight away, why don't you get on to the sadhana bhakti when it is available? And understand if the lift isn't working, elevator isn't working, then okay, fine, you do this. But when the elevator is working, why not do it? So these are the stages of devotion that 12.12 talks about. Now, here are the opportunities and challenges in practicing bhakti. Now, this is going to be the interactive session, Prabhu's, Mataji's. So, would like to hear from everyone who's on this Zoom call. Okay, so I'm going to give a few pointers, and then, let's open it out. So what are the challenges? The challenges, here's a hint. The cause is our conditioning. Does everyone understand what conditioning means? If not, please ask. Hare Krishna. Sandeep Sehgal, Prabhu, would you like to share your understanding of what is conditioning? Please don't feel shy. And if not, you can say, no, I would like to know.
Probably I'm still learning and trying to ingest as much as possible.
No problem.
Yeah. But what I got from you is, the two thing which is very good I learned today from you is, Bhakti, when you do bhakti, right? How should I say it? Let me put the right words so I can say it right way.
That's
only thing. So knowledge was, when you do a knowledge, right? When you, as you said, right, getting a knowledge and then doing a service to the Krishna, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two things which, if you can give me some more guidance, right? Which is the first step to go with, right? Doing the knowledge, getting the knowledge first, or doing the service first? Which is the first part if you're new to the bhakti and going to that path,
Sure.
to the spiritual part? Which is the first step we should think about doing?
What the acharyas tell us is both is necessary. So suppose you're going to lose weight, just your physical body, you need to lose weight. Now to lose weight, we'll go to a gym and there will be a trainer who'll say, okay, you go on the treadmill, you run for half an hour or something, he'll tell, do this, do that. Alongside with that, he'll also say, have a diet. You can't continue eating all the junk food, all the farsan and all the oily, tasty stuff. You also need to do diet. So if you look at it from that perspective, when we're trying to do our consciousness, when we're trying to strengthen our consciousness from material consciousness to become spiritual consciousness, known as Krishna consciousness, is at that you need both. You need knowledge as well as you need work or the physical activity. What happens is knowledge, Prabhu, gives you an intellectual idea of what is what. But when you actually do seva, the realization comes in. To give you an example, you're a Punjabi gentleman, correct? And I'm from South. Now, if I tell you, Sandeep Prabhu, do you know what is Madgane? Do you know what is Madgane?
No, Prabhu.
No. Now, मैं आपको समझाता हूँ. I'll tell you, Madgane is a South Indian dessert sweet dish. It is something like the Punjabi kheer. And what it is made up of is, it's made up of rice flour. It is made with coconut milk. It is made with cashews, kishmish, things like that. And it is served with hot idlis. Now you have some idea of Madgane, correct? So this is knowledge. I shared with you knowledge about Madgane. However, when you actually do the act of eating Madgane, you actually know then what is Madgane. So that physical activity of eating Madgane is when you get realization. So activity is what brings about realization. Now, realization is deeper than knowledge, simply because knowledge can fade away, knowledge can get lost, and it can be just a physical condition with age also. Our knowledge capacity can reduce. It's a function of the mind. However, realization, the experience, that doesn't go away. So the acharyas say it is necessary to have knowledge. Knowledge is necessary, as Jayadvaita Maharaj has pointed out. Knowledge is necessary so we have a good way of putting it into practice, so that we just don't do anything anyhow. So that when we do knowledge, so for example, when I ring a bell and I have that knowledge why I'm ringing a bell, when I'm doing obeisance, why am I doing my obeisance? When I learn how to do obeisance, then what happens is the act that I engage in becomes meaningful and not mechanical and ritualistic. So to answer your question, Prabhu, whether knowledge or whether activity, I'll call activity as seva. So through activity, you could get knowledge. And the best activity recommended for Kali Yuga is the simple chanting of the holy name. Simple chanting of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Now the knowledge of just these three words, Hare, Krishna and Rama, millions of lifetime are not enough. There we could go into the depth and width of it is unlimited, because that name is no different than Krishna and there is no limit on Krishna. And our capacity of mind is only so much. So the example given is, it is something like Tylenol. मेरे को सर दर्द है, the doctor and people who know, they say आप Tylenol लो, आपका सर दर्द निकल जाएगा. So what I do is I take Tylenol as per whatever is prescribed. The effect happens. So through that, when we are doing this principles, the regulative principles, we are doing japa, whatever the acharyas have said it, you do it faithfully, you do it sincerely, that revelation automatically happens. And we are at the same time learning, we are very fortunate that we have the Vaishnav Sangha. We are very fortunate that we have the Guru Parampara. We are very fortunate that we have Bhagavad Gita and all the other Shastras as it is and not through any interpretation. That helps us engage in service properly. So that answers, it's a little long.
Prabhu, you explained it very nicely. Thank you so much. You make my confusion, make it very clear now.
Thank you. It's all glories to the credit belongs to all the Vaishnavas from whom I've learned. Okay, so it is conditioning. Conditioning is basically our habits. We are all creatures of habits, all of us. So much so in software engineering, there is something called user experience. So for example, I have a habit on my work phone. I pick up the phone and I use my left ear. So the phone is on my left side of the desk. So whenever it rings, I pick up and I put it on my left side. Now, just a simple thing, if the phone is moved to my right side, whenever it rings, my left hand will go out and I have to reach across. This becomes inconvenient. So there is something in software design. If you're a software people, there's something called UX, user experience. So how the information is presented, what is put where, things like that. So we all creatures of habits. And these habits are nothing but end of the day, everything comes down to I, me, myself, mine. And what we're trying to do is get out of I, me, myself, mine and go into Krishna and Krishnas. So these are the causes. Challenges. One is we are the creatures of habit. Okay. Now we get over here as the first point I'll tell you is challenges that the jiva chooses to remain ignorant. Now, ignorant, we may think that, I have a PhD. What are you talking about ignorant? Ignorant about who you really are. We have full knowledge about the body. Very well versed. Actually, we don't fully know still. There's a lot we don't know. But we have covered great, vast domains of knowledge we have, material. Basically, matter and energy. We know that. But on the thing which is beyond matter and energy, clueless, totally ignorant. The second reason is laziness. Lazy. Well, there's become a big mantra in management circles. Thought leadership. So thinking out of the box, lateral thinking and all these other things. But end of the day, all what you're doing, this thought leadership is still matter and energy. I, me, myself, mine. So that laziness to, theek hai bhaiya, ignorance is not knowing. Ignorance is not wanting to know. That is ignorance. So we are very lazy. The third is we expect to be served. Everyone should be serving me. Main Raja, baki sab gulam. In reality, we may also be serving, but our attitude and the mentality, I expect to be served. So these are some of the things. Now, what do you feel, dear devotees? What are some of the challenges in practicing bhakti?
One question, if you can explain, right? So if you can guide, would be very nice. Soul versus body, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the karmas comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we said that soul is, once your body leaves, it's going to go to a new body and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who's deciding when the body? So basically, who's deciding what karmas are you doing? Is it the soul deciding? Who has the power to control, right? What is soul? We emphasize so much, right? So, but
You
what
decide.
I'm not,
You decide. You
but
decide.
we
Your
are,
soul
but
has
we are,
desires.
we are like, we are the body, right? Soul is,
No, you're not the body. That's the first principle. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Learn these two lines, Prabhu. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Sing Nithai Gaura Hari Bol. Just keep repeating this thing. जब भी आप driving कर रहे हो, कुछ भी मन में, you're thinking, say it aloud, say it silently. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Sing Nithai Gaura Hari Bol. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. Say Nithai Gaura Hari Bol. That's the first thing to understand. We're not this body. ये जो शरीर है ना is just matter, and that energy is spiritual. Matter can't move on its own. This table is right here. It won't move until and unless I act upon it. Energy acts upon it. Matter can't do anything. So in this body that we have is matter, and that spiritual spark, that spiritual energy, that is called the soul. But we'll get back to your question, Prabhu. I would like devotees to please, what are your considerations? What are your experiences, challenges in practicing bhakti?
Time constraints.
Time. Okay.
So, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So one is always after sense enjoyment, right? So we always want to be happy, right? So we are after happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So when we, let's say, do the devotional service, and sometimes it becomes mechanical. It may not give the happiness to us. Of course, the sense enjoyment, right? So that it may not give.
Yep.
So then it becomes a little bit more mechanical, right? That's one of the challenges.
Okay, very good. What else? Very good.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my challenge is focus. There are so many things happening, I lose focus.
Focus. Okay, nice. Let me see if I can pull up the whiteboard, or can someone pull up the whiteboard? I'm not very technically savvy, but I know Surbi says that there is some whiteboard, something. I don't even know if it's over here. If you write these things down, because then these, what we're sharing, what challenges we face, somebody else may be sharing, and hopefully we can come to the solution or the opportunities that we see someone else may not have been seeing, and together we're helping each other. We're helping each other with this exercise. Anyway, I can't see where the whiteboard is. Okay. Anyway, okay, great. So focus, being mechanical, ritualistic, time management. Anything else? I see there is Mona Mataji.
Yeah, Prabhu, I think it's for me, it's lack of prioritization as well.
Okay, prioritization. So I'll put it under the subcategory of focus. So I'm not able to prioritize my work or my sadhana.
No, the sadhana, like say you have list of things and sadhana comes at the last, right? So you feel like, God will understand, nobody else will understand. You have that feeling sometimes.
Yeah,
so
very true. Good. Who else would like to go? Anyone else?
So probably one thing is we think that we are missing out something, right? And in the material world, there's a competition and all that. So in a way, we think we are kind of going back, and at least we are not able to compete in the material world, right? That's one other thing.
I didn't understand. You're saying we can't compete in the material world, so because we've lost in material
because our primary focus is on, let's say, bhakti, devotional service.
Yeah.
There may be so many things, so many skills that others in the material world may be acquiring, and then who are better equipped to face the world, right?
Yes, that's very true. As long as this particular condition that you're bringing up, Prabhu, is one doesn't have to be done at the expense of the other. So literally your job itself can be an act of devotional service. Literally every act that we do can be devotional service. So even if you acquire a new skill, I don't know what line of work you're in, Prabhuji, but if you're in software, for example, software is such a changing field, correct? So there is some new technology comes and you need to retool yourself. You could either retool yourself to remain relevant so that you don't become obsolete, which means that you'd be able to have better job prospects, which means that you'd be able to be gainfully employed, which means that from that employment, you'd be able to enjoy and indulge in your sense gratification. When I'm saying you means it's our condition. So the same job, the same thing that we did of retooling our skill sets, it may seem to be prima facie a material activity, but as long as for whom it is being done and who's the beneficiary of that results, where it called earlier, if you remember the slide, all the results of my labor, I'm offering it. That is bhakti. That is bhakti itself. And along the way, secondary, I'm not the primary reason, I'm the secondary reason that is happening, is the beneficiary of it. Whatever I get to a good job, I'll be able to afford a better lifestyle. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. Because I'm going with the consciousness that I'm doing it for Krishna. So one doesn't have to be at the expense of other, as long as we have the proper consciousness, what we are doing. Mother Mona mentioned that, this happens to be the last thing. I have so many other things to do. I have my family to take care of. I have my job to take care of. And I have this and I have that. And bhakti somewhere comes at the bottom, which comes to what we call prioritization. And Romapad Swami Maharaj, he gave a very good thing, which answers even Savita's question of time management. So he says, make a quadrant of 4, and on the top left corner, top quadrant, urgent and important. You decide what is urgent and important. And then after that, decides it on the right top quadrant, not urgent, but important. Then under the left bottom, urgent, but not important. And then finally, the fourth quadrant, where all of us spend a lot of time, is neither urgent nor important. And the best example is all of us are great students. At least I'm a great student on the University of WhatsApp. Your college group, your school group, your society group, your this group, your that group. There are so many groups and the same nonsense jokes and all that information is being circulated. But once you open that little thing in your hand, your device, it just sucks you in, whether it is WhatsApp, whether it is Twitter, whether it is Facebook. And before you realize it, so much time has gone by. That time is gone. But that time has gone, it has eaten into something more constructive that we'd be able to do. So again, your WhatsApp also could be spiritualized. Your WhatsApp could be spiritualized. Your Facebook could be spiritualized. It can become a tool which will help in your bhakti. So from this perspective, these are the challenges that we have. And the focus point is, we can go back to Jayadatta Swami Maharaj's instruction. When we have the knowledge, then I know why I'm doing it. When I know why I'm doing it, the efficiency and the efficacy of what I'm doing improves. So Maharaj says, when we sit down for doing japa, of course, I know me, my focus is finish the rounds because I've taken a vow. Finish those rounds, 16. And there's really not much attention to do it properly because it's this time, oh, I have to finish. So where will the taste come from? But, it happens to be ritualistic. Anyway, the next point is you anyway do it because inattentive chanting, offensive chanting, don't stop eventually it is going to cure you from this condition. So when I have the knowledge, then it becomes meaningful. So Maharaj says, before sitting down to chant, ask yourself, why am I doing it? Anything that you do, why am I doing it? For whom am I doing it? Then it becomes meaningful. Then my focus won't run here and there. So these are some of the challenges. Of course, there are many more, but just to give you an overview. And then here are some opportunities. Opportunities, there is actually no cause. This is what we call mercy. Mercy is something granted for someone who's undeserving. That is mercy. And it's causeless. There's nothing that you and I can do to get mercy. Some of us have taken initiation, shelter of a spiritual master. And before that, there are certain things, there are formalities that one needs to do to be able to fulfill the vows. But it's not because you were able to pass your disciple course that you got initiation. There is no cause. It is causeless. Keep that in mind. So what opportunities is there? We have the opportunity to cultivate knowledge. So you guys are jumping at the opportunity to cultivate knowledge by sitting in this forum, listening to Vaishnavas, reading, morning Bhagavatam, evening Bhagavad Gita. When you have time, instead of going on WhatsApp, go to Vedabase and read Prabhupada's letters. If there is some ISKCON Guru, some Vaishnava who inspires you, read his blogs. There are so much material out there. So that is cultivating knowledge as an opportunity. John F. Kennedy was asked, he was very successful at a very young age, and he was asked by, I think it was Time Life or some reporter, that what do you attribute your success to? So JFK says, I jump at every opportunity. So the reporter asked obvious question. How do you know when opportunity strikes? He says, I don't, but I'm jumping all the time. You understand the point? So that's how we should be. And a person who is jumping all the time will not be lazy. It takes care of that laziness. It takes care of that ignorance. Then we have dynamism. There's dynamic. A person is dynamic, is this zest of jumping up and down and renders service. But our conditioning is such that even when all these opportunities are brought to us on a platter, we turn our face away from it. So that's where the discipline comes in. We look at convenience. Ye jo opportunity hai hamare liye. We look at our convenience and then we do the justification. No, I have this project deliverable to do. No, I have to take this other thing to do. No, I have this, I have that. But ask yourself really, deep down we have that answer. And as long as there is that intent, spirituality is such a thing that just an intent is necessary. Automatically, like magic, things happen. And the only way we can experience is by actually engaging with this kind of an attitude. Can someone very quickly tell me what other examples are there of opportunities? Mother Satyabhama, would you like to share? How about you, Sudhakar Prabhu? You'd be comfortable sharing what you see as an opportunity in Bhakti, practicing Bhakti?
Yeah, yeah, Prabhuji. So I think one of the things is associating with the devotees is extremely, very, very
Excellent.
powerful.
Excellent. Excellent. Perfect. That's a perfect answer. Association. And association, what actually means association means this point number 3, rendering service. So when you're with a devotee in the Vaishnav Sangha, association, you could render the service of listening to what they're saying. You could render the service of actually serving them. So for example, get them prasad, do some personal service. You could render service by obedience to the instruction. So when a Vaishnav has said something, yes, I will do that. So that's where the effect of association in helping us come back and closer to Krishna happens. Very good. One more point, and then we'll bring it to a close.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Sorry, I am out. That's why I could not answer.
No
but
problem.
yeah, opportunity like whatever. Like now you asked the question. That was the opportunity for me to respond, and I could not. There was an obstacle for me, but I could manage it. That by grace of Krishna. So thank you so much. Yeah, opportunity like devotional service. Whatever the service comes, that's the opportunity we have to grab all the time.
Perfect. The one simple benchmark, very simple benchmark, if we want to know how we are progressing, correct? So, jaise ki, people are very much into health and fitness and all, and especially the youngsters, they want the 6-pack abs and 8-pack abs and kya abs and nikalte rehte hain. So they always look in the mirror to see how much is my exercising bearing fruit or no. So whatever sadhana that we're doing, whatever practices that we're doing, are we progressing or no? One such benchmark, very simple, is how much service are we engaging in? Now, service is not necessarily limited to just going for Sunday cooking or doing wrap up and set up service, and like Jagannath Rath Yatra in 2-3 days. So there are a lot of services required. But service is available even when you're in the privacy of your home. Services when you're driving to work also, as I said, listening, hearing, this, that, and all. So the more and more that we engage in this kind of services, the desire to engage more, the desire to listen, we ourselves will be able to benchmark how close or how far or how much progress that we are making. Thank you, everybody. This is what you see, this picture. Is from, on the left is Srila Prabhupada. It's a very, very old picture. And on the right of your screen is Srila Bhakti. The gentleman is Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj. Can anyone answer who's the child besides him?
Bhakti Siddhanta
Saraswati.
Swami Maharaj.
Yeah. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati.
I think so too, because of the glasses and even the face. I'm not sure whether it's his brother, but it very much looks like the Lion Guru. So this is Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj and his father. And this is what Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj has said. Ask nothing from God except eternal love. That's it. It's just giving. So whatever we are doing, please remember, is for the pleasure of Krishna. Whatever. That's the first thing. And then everything else is under that. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj ki jai. Shri Shri Guru Parampara ki jai. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was wonderful. A very nice interaction with each other.
All
Thank
very
you.
super.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Simeshwar Prabhu, over to you. I'm sorry it went.
That's all right. Thank you so much. Such a nice class and lots of points. You were mentioning about the John F. Kennedy. John F. Kennedy also, when he became the president of America, he addressed to the nation. He mentioned a very beautiful point. It was quoted many times. He mentioned, ask not what country can do for you. Ask what can do for your country. So that's what is I like that. So we should always remember on that. What can I do for devotees and Krishna? What can I do? How can I do? What can I do? Not for what I can get from everybody, what I can get from the Lord. What can I do? That's a best and beautiful. So you based upon that point and you concluded with that point. It was nice. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good. Very good, Simeshwar Prabhu. Not what we can be always expecting.
Yep.
Hare Krishna, I've been chanting now for 20 years. Why did this happen to me? What have I done? Krishna becomes the order supplier. We are the servant, but then we expect Krishna to be serving us.
Yeah, that's what Srila Prabhupada mentioned, right? Our attitude is boss. Krishna is a servant. Always Krishna do that, Krishna do this for me, Krishna do that for me, Krishna take my this one, all the laundries, relieve me and give me that, give me this, give me that, give me this. Every moment we are thinking that.
Yeah. Very good. Thanks for bringing that up. Very nice.
Yeah, thank you for such a wonderful class.
Thank you,
Dear
Prabhu.
devotees, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, it's wonderful that we discuss Bodhayanda Parasparam, Kadayandischa Mam Nityam, Tushyandi Jaramandija. When we discuss, the topics of Krishna, it derives great pleasure, great bliss. Tushyandi Jaramandija. Yes, otherwise we will be talking so many other, other things. But what is the use? Yeah, if you have anything, any questions, comments, concerns, please open up.
Can I ask you devotees a question? If nobody has a question.
Go ahead, Praj.
My question to all Prabhu's Matajis is how does these forums help you in your sadhana bhakti? We do morning Bhagavatam, we do evening Bhagavad Gita. What does it mean to you? Or why do you join?
Krishna Prabhuji, I am in the temple, so I will be really brief, but I get very good association of devotees like yourself and others, and the question and answers are enlightening. So that's my takeaway. Thank you.
Nice. Anybody else?
Yeah, Prabhuji, we learn, say every day, I'm trying to join morning and evening, trying to learn, and I think in 2-3 weeks, I'm not long enough journey, but learned a lot. And to be honest, I don't want to miss. Even I'm driving or doing anything, I try to not to miss, because really with all those, teachings really giving you a lot of knowledge, as you said, right? Knowledge transfer. That's the main thing I think we are getting from this knowledge transfer and bhakti. With all the questions, with other devotees ask questions, opens your mind. Give you more knowledge to the spiritual path. That's what I'm getting from this.
Very nice.
And thank you so much for giving us the knowledge and time and giving us that. We really appreciate it.
We sit on the Vyasasana. The person who is sharing the knowledge it's called the Vyasasana. And all of us who sit or have this opportunity or the seva to share that knowledge is simply a medium. And the best example is like a loudspeaker. The loudspeaker is putting out the sound, but whatever is coming from behind, and that is coming from the Guru Parampara. So it's just, and similarly, the person who's the recipient and hearing is also doing the seva. So the circuit gets complete, and we ask questions, answers are given, and experiences are shared. So that becomes, how do you say, more intense, relishable. Thank you, Sandeep Prabhu. Thank you very much for joining. Very good. It's already 8:15, 8:17.
Yeah, okay. So thank you, dear devotees. Let's conclude. There are a few announcements. So Thursday evening, 8:30, we will be having darshan of Lord Jagannath. Lord Jagannath Netrolmanal, that Lord Jagannath will be back on the altar. So, everybody can take the opportunity to see the Lord first darshan Netrolmanal after the Anavasara period. You can come to the temple around 8:30, Sayana Arati. So then we'll be having some services at the temple starting on Thursday and Friday. Thursday afternoon and Friday all day. There are lots of vegetable cuttings and other setups, arrangements for the Rath Yatra for July 1st and July 2nd. You can all participate, and some way or other you can help in the, in this all arrangements. That's on Friday, so Thursday and Friday, and also Saturday morning, early morning, 5 a.m. The cooking starts for the Atlantic City also. If anybody is available, please join. Friday evening, 6 o'clock, the Rath Yatra starts at our temple. That's the actual day of Jagannath Puri Rath Yatra. Every year we do conduct at the same day at our temple. Atlantic City is our Rath Yatra also. That's July 2nd on New Jersey Avenue, starting from New Jersey Avenue until to the Kennedy Plaza. So there'll be drama, cultural programs, kirtans, and lots of kirtaniyas are coming from various places. So it'll be also devotees are going early to set up and so many things, and so many services are also there. If you're free and available, you can go early and help in any of these opportunity services to the Lord Jagannath. That's it for now. And July 10th is Ashadi Ekadashi. Also, we are extending, invitation for my Guru Maharaj Vyasa Puja. Humbly request all of you to please join as well on July 10th, Sunday at our temple, starting at 11 a.m. Okay, anything else? Okay. Thank you, and thank you for bringing the Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's disappearance day and Srila Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance day. So, Bhagwan Prabhu nicely explained, and we can also meditate and read, some extent the pastimes and the appearance and the reasons and all on this auspicious day, so that it gives us lots of purity. It brings us lots of purification. So thank you. I think let's conclude then, if there is nothing else. Thank you so much for joining today. Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpadarubhasya kripa sindhubhyev cha patidanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavvrinda ki jai.
Jai.
Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vrinda ki jai. Gaurav
Jai.
Prema. Hare Hare.
Hari 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 Bol.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amritananda Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.